Do you know that most people who do businesses in Canada make more money than people who are in the career? Do you know that most people who do business in Canada make more money than those who go to office 9 to 5? I'm sure this is shocking. This is something people don't talk about enough, and I'm going to be talking about this today. Now, there are certain skills you must learn before you come into Canada. Guys, don't sleep on this one, because there are certain skills, there are certain jobs people do back home that people look down on, that are respected here, and that people make so much money from. Now, please understand that most of the skills I'm going to be talking about in this video require some form of certification. So, but these certifications are not difficult to get. You can, get it somewhere when you can get into Canada, or you can get it before you come into Canada. Okay, it's not difficult to get, not expensive as well. Now, the first one I want to talk about today is hair making and barbing. Now, hair making and barbing can be a huge source of income. It can be a great source of income for you. Now, aside from the fact that you can make your kids' hair, if you have children, you can make their hair. You can also make money from making other people's hair. Now, let me explain something to you. Let's even say you rely, or you just focus on making children's hair. That's all you do. You will make so much money, because a lot of moms, even though can make hair, do not have the time to sit down and make their children's hair. So you can actually make this hair for these kids and make some money during your free time. Now, regular cornrows that people make here, they make it for as much as $30 to $40. Okay. Now, if you want to talk about braids, crochet, those ones that take time to make, they make it as much as $230 to $250 per hair. Guys, there's so much money to be made from this business. You can do it in your free time. You can do it when you close from work. You can do it during the weekend, anytime you have. If you know how to wig hair as well, this is another way to make money from people. If you know how to revamp wigs during the winter, the harsh weather condition in Canada most times does not favor wigs. Okay, so most times people's wigs go bad. You can come into this particular field and fill in this gap, help them revamp their wigs when they go bad, and get them back to life. Now, for barbing, if someone wants to barb hair, you can find people that can barb your hair for as low as or as high as $25 to $30. That's for the cheap places you can find. There are certain places you go to, they barb hair for between $50 to $70, as the case may be. So this is something you can make money from. If you make $50 from one person's hair, from cutting one person's hair, and you're able to cut 5 people's hair in a day, 50 times 5 is how much? That's $250. Okay, that's an extra source of income for you here in Canada. Now, the second one is catering. Now, catering, anything that has to do with cooking, baking, guys, these are things you can make money from. Now, right here in Canada, you would hardly find a restaurant that sells your native meals. And because of the influx of number of people who are coming into Canada from your own place, right, there's a gap in this place to be filled. There are people who desire their native food. There are people who desire food from back home. You can actually be that person who makes this food and sells to people. Every now and then, there are several get-togethers happening in Canada. Events are being hosted, parties and the like. And people are looking for caterers to cook for them, because they cannot cook for the crowd, the number of people who will be coming for the party. You can also be that person who will do these catering jobs for people. Now, if you know how to make your local delicacies, those things that your natives would, even if they want to make it in their house, they don't have the ingredients to make it. You can come in and fill that gap. Guys, this is one way to make extra money. Sometimes people do not even want to eat what they cook. They would desire to eat something that's made from outside. And other times, people are too busy. They are too busy to even make food at home, because they have other things they do, or they have a number of things they are doing. So they would just rather order out. You can be that person, okay, who will fill in the gap in this situation and provide food for these people. And the third skill you want to learn is driving. Guys, driving is a very important life skill. Now, here in Canada, the transportation system is not so good. Maybe in Toronto, you can say, okay, yes, you can rely on the transport system. But in other parts of Canada, it is not so good. The transport system is not so good. So you want to learn how to drive. Aside from the fact that to help you save money on taxis and Ubers when you get into the country, transporting your family might not be easy when you are jumping buses, okay? So if you're going to be using taxis, it's going to be comfortable for you, but you'll be spending a lot of money. This can eat into your income. So you want to get the car when you come into Canada, no matter how small the car is. You want to get the car, so your means of mobility is at least sorted. Now, aside from helping your family and yourself to get to where you want to go to, you can also make money from it. You can make some extra income by getting on board the Uber platform. Now, it's no longer news that people who drive Ubers here make so much money, guys. These people make so much money. And a lot of people who drive Ubers are actually very comfortable. I had a situation where I had to join an Uber one time, and the person who came to pick me up came with a discovery. This guy was looking all cleaned up. He was looking very clean. And when I looked at him and we got discussing, I found out that he's into real estate and he has properties already. Now, these are people who are doing so well, yet they are driving Ubers. Why? They want to make extra income. So you cannot look down on this side hustle. It's something you want to do, and you make so much money from it. You can also get on board the Uber Eats platform or the Skip the Dishes platform. These are people who help people to, deliver food or any other items to people. Like, say, people place orders for food items and groceries and all of those stuff. And then these people who are Uber, who work on Uber Eats or Uber or Skip the Dishes, pick up these things from the grocery stores and deliver them to these people who have ordered. Now, the company pays them a commission for this delivery. A lot of people make extra income from driving Ubers, doing Skip the Dishes, doing Uber Eats. People make as much as $3,000 to $4,000 monthly from this. Now, the fourth skill I want to talk about is handymen. Handymen are people like the bricklayers, the plumbers, electricians. Now, these people make a lot of money here in Canada. And I'm not talking about small money, I mean good monies. Guys, they make so much money. Now, as an electrician or a plumber or a carpenter, you can actually work for an employer or you work for yourself. You can work for people you know, okay? Now, let me give you an instance. There was a time when my little baby, threw a toy in their toilet, okay? And this blocked, the toilet, and nothing could be flushed down the toilet. We had no choice but to call, the facility people managing the property where we stay, and they had to call the plumber. Now, when they got the plumber to check, they found out that there was something that was blocking it. And by the time they brought it out, it was a toy, okay? And guess what? It didn't take this guy up to 15 minutes. It didn't even take him up to 10 minutes to get out that toy from the pipe, okay? He didn't take him up to 15 minutes to get it out. He didn't break anything. He didn't have to spoil anything. I don't even know how he did it, but he brought that thing out. And guess how much he charged us? $250. Guys, for something that didn't take up to 10 minutes. You all know that labor is not cheap in Canada. So if you're going to be employing labor, you're going to getting someone to do something for you. You know you are ready to pay for it. If you've watched this video to this very point and you're getting value, guys, please click on the like button. That's one way to support my channel, and that's one way to tell YouTube that this video should go out to more people. Thank you so much for the support and the love. Aside from making money from this whole skill, right, you can also use it for yourself in your home. If you have issues with your electricity, you can fix it yourself. If you have issues with your plumbing work, you can do it yourself, guys. So it's a win-win. Businessmen do so well here in Canada. It's disheartening that people focus so much on the career sector that they forget about the opportunities in business. As a business person in Canada, you can get grants from the government. Now, people get grants from governments to push or boost their business. That guy I met in that Uber also explained to me that when he came to Canada and he started business 1 year after, he got a grant from the government of about $20,000, guys. Which government in my country would give you $20,000 or even $10,000 or even $5,000 to boost your business? Now, in Canada, as a business person, you have opportunity to government grants. You also can pass business expense. You can actually pass some of your income as business expense to avoid paying huge tax. Don't say I told you guys. So that is one way of things you can benefit as a business person. You can make so much money as a business person here in Canada. The government also do all of these things to enable them to employ more labor, because they know that if you employ labor, you're also helping the economy. The fifth skill you want to learn is sewing and decoration. Guys, if you know how to make clothes, if you know how to sew clothes, either full clothes or you can amend clothes, this is one skill you want to learn. Even if you cannot make proper clothes, if you can amend clothes, people, either go bigger or go slimmer, and they don't have access to tailors that can do these things for them. Even if they find, these people charge them a lot, a hand and a neck to do these things for them. Now, 2 weeks back in my church, there was a certain lady who did a Thanksgiving service where her and her family members came in dressed in a regalia from back home. Obviously, they were dressed from a regalia from head to toe, and I'm aware, and I'm sure that they didn't go to back home. They didn't have to make those outfits from Nigeria, okay? Those outfits were made here in Canada. And guess what? The person who made those outfits for them cashed out big time, because making those outfits here in Canada is a lot. Now, another thing again is that people have events, like I said. People have events here in Canada, birthday parties, housewarming, stuff like that, and they want to have their event ground or event place decorated, you can come in and help do the decorations and get paid. Learn balloon what's it called, balloon settings and all of those things. Learn it from back home. Maybe you have a sister, you have a friend who is already doing these things back home. Get close to them to learn these things. It won't cost you so much, and you can come here and make a killing from these things. Now, the sixth skill I want to talk about today is photography and videography. Now, I've observed that there are not so many good photographers here in Canada as compared to where I'm coming from back home. Back home in Nigeria, okay, a lot of big photographers were prominent. If you talk about K Lala, there are a lot of them. Once you mention their names, people can resonate with the name, okay? But here in Canada, there are not a lot. So this means that there's a gap, okay? There's a gap that somebody can fill. You can learn these things and come here and make money from it. A lot of weddings go on here. Child dedication, housewarming, parties, anniversaries, all of these things happen here in Canada. And you can, take up the job, to take photographs for them and do videography for them and make so much money from it. Another thing you want to know is that the competition is really low. You are not going to be strong. There's a huge market and there are few people doing this right now. The seventh skill I want to talk about today are mechanics. Now, mechanics are people who fix cars for people. These people make a killing, guys. I know a particular mechanic that works on my husband's car. This guy actually, he works for someone. He works for an employer. So his 9-to-5 job is that he works for someone. But after work, he has his own, he works for other people. He does freelancing. So you can either come to his house, he uses his garage, okay, to fix people's car. So he works after work, and then he also works during the weekend. Now, this guy has bought his own house in Canada already. He owns his own property, and this guy is living large. Guys, you can make money from repairing, fixing people's cars in Canada. These people make as much as $6,000 to $7,000 monthly. Guys, this is huge. Not so many people who work in offices make this much monthly. So if a mechanic working on his own can make this much, you can imagine. So business people here in Canada make so much. If you're looking for high-skilled jobs that pay well in Canada, I did a video on that. You might want to watch the video next.